This WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL, and WAFLW, Bupa, proud sponsor of WA football. And the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.
Are you ready? Ready to go? Are you ready? Ready for more? Are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, oh my. Are you ready? Ready and now to keep going. And I can't stop. Are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, oh my. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Down the highway and landed at David Gray's Arena, otherwise known as Rushton Park, the home of Peel Thunder, as they look to take on league leaders Subiaco in the WAFLW match of the day here this afternoon. It's top versus bottom, but Subi are missing a number of players, so Peel would give themselves every opportunity to steal the points off the top team today. The Lions coming off a loss last week to Swan Districts, while Peel Thunder were also touched up by East Fremantle last week. 39 points was the final margin in that game, so they'll be keen to atone as well. And the Lions also very eager to get back on the winners list. Both teams wearing their NAIDOC round jumpers for a second time today, which is fantastic to see. Subiaco and Peel Thunder getting themselves ready for what will be a massive game. Subiaco can remain a game clear with a victory today. If they lose after Claremont's win yesterday against East Fremantle, they'll be locked at the top of the table with 5 rounds to go with the Tigers. Meanwhile, Peel looking for win number 2 this season. David Lindsay, your commentator this afternoon, will introduce the rest of the team shortly. We'll take a break here and be back with all the action in the first quarter after these messages.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
There's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
Yeah, incredibly exciting. It's obviously a new chapter in my career, in my football career, but I'm incredibly excited to be here and a part of this football club. And I've been really impressed by the professionalism, the level of respect that they've treated me through this process, and I guess the core values that the club have. The product that we're producing now for AFLW has really grown over 3 years, but the next 3 to 5 years is going to be incredible, and some really talented girls coming through, and I can't wait to actually work alongside them. And I felt like I'd be a part of the family here.
Round 10 of WAFLW this afternoon. Peel Thunder taking on Subiaco as the competition starts to head towards the pointy end with just one set of fixtures remaining. Everyone will play each other one further time after this afternoon's game. There was a match played yesterday. Claremont successful over East Fremantle by 3 points. It's put the Tigers back up to second on the ladder. East Fremantle have dropped to third. Swans are fourth, which leaves us with our 2 teams here for broadcast this afternoon. Top of the table, Subiaco, you can see on your screen, going through their warm-up. Peel Thunder were out there warming up. They've disappeared for a little while. They're going to make an entrance in a moment and be back out on the field. David Lindsay alongside Emily Johnson. Welcome, Jono.
Thank you. It's good to be here again. I think it's going to be a really exciting game today.
It is top versus bottom, but there's a number of players missing, which should make it a lot tighter than what we would expect on paper normally. Clint Deggerod is alongside us as well. Welcome, Deggers.
Good to be here again, just like Emily. Happy to be here watching footy. A couple of things that really interest me today. It's good to see Rachel Ortlett back into the side, a little injury. Made her miss a couple of games. Lauren Stammers comes back in the team. I know where Stammers was at 12 o'clock on Friday night. It was her birthday. She wasn't celebrating. She was on a delayed flight back from Brisbane, so she should be good. Interesting. Peel Thunder just in front of us. Very happy to see Sabrina Duffy, Savannah Hammerkamp, just Demi Little, Scout McCormack and Maddie Yarran, just young players making their way, and they've got a couple of. They'll be supported today with some more experienced players too, which we'll talk about throughout the coverage. I imagine we mentioned Katie Jane Greaves' name a few times.
Yeah, there'll be a few players there we can put the spotlight on throughout this afternoon. We'll also talk with you a little bit about the State 18s, which concluded on Friday. A couple of, or 3 matches during the week, a win and a couple of tight losses. So a chance for us to discuss what happened over there on the Gold Coast and some of the players that we'll see in WAFLW action in those final 5 rounds that, as we mentioned just before, will be on us in no time at all. Peel Thunder taking their position on the field. Subiaco just going through their final preparations. Jono, we just spoke off air a little bit about all the players missing for Subiaco today. There's no Piscaneri, no Testa, no Golisani. There's no Forth as well, who has played a couple of games. We have also seen Stubbs as well play a few games this year. She's missing today. Still no Bowers or Hooker. So they're well and truly short of their best team here this afternoon, which would give Peel some confidence.
Yeah, certainly. I think Peel have something to prove as well. They're currently sitting on the bottom of the ladder, so for them to get a win would make the competition, make it very interesting going into the pointy end of the season. And I think Subi will have to cover those key midfield roles. And obviously Tani Tester has been an avid goal kicker for them this year, so just try and find a solution to cover her as well.
If you look, Deggers, at the 2 teams, in fact, on the goals that have been kicked by the players out there this afternoon, Subiaco players have combined for 15 goals and Peel for 14. So, as Jono mentioned there, Subi missing a couple of their key forwards, which should tighten this game up nicely.
Ash Renshaw will sneak a couple, and Lauren Stammers, I imagine, clever, experienced player, will roll forward too, so they might be able to fill that gap. But it's a pretty good observation, as long as Peel can control the midfield battle, because they've still got some royalty inside there. With Hayley Miller will lead this. Lara Filakama will continue to knock up 1 million touches a game.
Subiaco with just the 4 on the bench. Jono, we've seen this happen once or twice before this year, not playing the full complement on the bench, which is interesting.
Yeah, interesting. I've noticed Swans have done it a few times throughout the season, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's they don't have enough players available or whatever, but interesting to see how they run this one out.
16 aside, of course, and allowed up to 5 players on the bench, but Subi just the 4 today. As we're underway, Freeman coming off the wing, left the ball behind. Yarran takes it away for the Thunder and sends them into their attacking half to get things started. Malloy tracking it towards the line, couldn't find the handle, and it's out of play for a boundary throw-in. Boundary umpire was a little bit confused there. He thought maybe it's last touch rather than last possession, but when it's touched off hands, it will be a boundary throw-in, so he's called into action.
A bit of speed there from young Hannenkamp, sorry, my apologies, Savannah. Young player in her first season of the WAFLW football, playing league footy.
So toss back into play again. Chance for Filakamo. Couldn't handle the footy. Dowson had it for a moment. In hard was Quaife. There's Hannah Kampf. Duffy coming through strongly. She was wrapped up pretty quickly by Jaya Saria, who then wins the footy. Gives it off to Harkin. Hand pass can't find a target. Dowson in the way once more. Filakamo got away through the traffic nicely. Fired it away towards Blackmore. Long to half forward. Good contest in the air. Peel have done well to hold up under pressure. The hand pass coming through from Whale. Eventually getting to McKinley. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Almost reeling in the one-hander was Hardy. Subiaco with numbers around the fall of this one. Filakamo gives the fend off but then falls over. Did her opponent fall into her back? She did. A little bit overzealous there, Ebony Hardy. So Filakamo takes the free kick. And she will be a key player today for the Maroon and Gold. Goes short and might get it back. She thought about firing the hand pass back to her. The kick goes to half forward, and getting in the way this time is Shannon Whale. Kick was smothered by Jaya Saria. Comes back to Whale. Good enough to give a hand pass away, and the Thunder will go towards half forward. Miller beaten by a terrible bounce. Hand pass from Harkin. Also couldn't find the target. She quickly applies a tackle to Dowson, and the umpire crosses his arms and calls for the footy. Tight start in the opening minute or two of this one.
Jay Saria's work. She's got a smother and a couple of blocks in this game early. She's doing all the tough stuff.
Quaife opposed in the ruck to Ritchie. Thunder working it forward again. Bartlett, the only hope there for Peel at the moment. Dives in, can't take it. Coming through Dowrick. Got on to Filicamo. Kicks to half forward. Attacking it in the air was McCormack. Ball got over the back. Whale might have been taken high. She was. Put her head over the football and got rewarded. It's the free kick. The option was the right one, but had too much on the kick. Rode didn't really have a look before she kicked and then put it straight down the throat of her opponent in McKinley. The switch on again here for Peel, but once again, the skill's not up to the standard required for the move that was being made. Subiaco with a chance up forward. Lewis spots the open goal square, needs a good bounce, it sits up, and Peel will rush it through for the first score of the game. A rush behind.
Interesting that Peel seemed to be working back pretty hard in defence and already made 3 or 4 intercept marks, but just a bit of skill error there has allowed Subi to get the ball into their forward line, and very potent they are.
Certainly see the game plan there, Deggers, looking to switch to the open side.
Yeah, Dante, aggressive gameplay, get into the corridor and run a wheel. Might be going in a little early for his tastes, but it's great to see their intent.
Breslin with a kick back into play. A couple of Thunder players around, no one could mark. Harkin's hand pass chopped off, and McKinley, who's been busy early, is away with a bounce, then decides to go straight down the middle. Wasn't a pretty kick off the boot, but it did land on the chest of a teammate. Thunder cough it up, though. The hand pass going astray there. Now Subiaco through Ritchie. Kicks towards half forward, bounces off the chest of her target. And the ball now in Peel Thunder hands, although tough one to win here for Dowson. She gets around an opponent, straightens up nicely. Kick just falls short of the intended target. Rachel Ortlip takes it away for Subiaco. Spots up a player. Marking on the 50 is Renshaw. Wouldn't expect too many players wearing zinc in the middle of July, but Ash Renshaw is, and it's a wonderful pass. On the lead is Lewis, who marks 30 metres out directly in front. Have a chat to Ash at work tomorrow about that, Degs. What do you reckon? The
Very
zinc on the
neat little
nose?
work. She's such a busy little player over a long period of time, and it's good to see her back in the league side, and this is the kind of little things she can do. Little connects, sneaks goal out the back, and a lovely pass there to Lewis.
Lewis directly in front. Will take her best kick for distance. She's hooked it slightly, and another behind for Subiaco.
I think she's improved her kicking this year, Jono.
Yeah, certainly. Just didn't quite strike it as she wanted to there, but
I'll probably need to do Subiaco
smoother run up.
Subi a favour. If I had said she'll miss this, she would have kicked it post height. It's been my skill this year, showing my lack of expertise. It's good to see Lewis on a lead too, because he's very good with the controlled work and very good with the aerial work and the contested marking. So wonderful to see her on a lead.
So Breslin playing deep in defence with the kick back into play. Good leap from Grieve. Couldn't reel in the mark though. Becomes the tackler. That was shrugged away easily though. Rode a high kick. Lewis out from full forward takes a wonderful grab. Looking dangerous early up forward.
I think that's what she needs to do all day, just keep presenting, and if the ball gets to ground, they have the Ash Renshaws and B. Devlin, they can crumb off her toes, but to get her up and firing early, 2 set shots, she's just got to convert here.
She's kicked the 1 goal this year for Subiaco. She's had a sighter already. This one probably about 5 metres closer when she puts boot to ball. Distance won't pose a problem. It spins well off the boot, but again, just dragging it across the face. And whatever breeze is out there today is actually blowing towards the commentary side of the ground, which is a little bit unusual down here. We normally see play stuck on the far wing, but maybe looking after us today. The breeze should keep most of the play on the members' side. Definitely looks as though it's going more across the ground than favouring either end. Breslin to do the kicking in again. Runs a full measure, kicks for distance. Even numbers as the ball hits the deck. Good tackle applied on Blackmore. Opens the door up here for Carter. Stops and props and then gives a hand pass on to Rowley. Tumbles a kick forward, but reading it best. Claire Ortlip. Wraps it up for Subi. Punches a kick in short. And the mark taken by Devlin. Switch now for Subiaco. Spots Road at centre half back. Recently rookied by Fremantle, so we'll see her in AFLW action next year with any luck. Decides to fire a hand pass away to a teammate. Puts her under a bit of pressure. Marnie can't hit the target with her hand pass. Here's Grieve. Shrugs the tackle of Renshaw. Goes with the outside of the boot, kicks to centre half forward. Peel with plenty of numbers around here. Ball slapped into space. Yaron ducks back onto her right. Kick was smothered by Ortlip. Loose footy. Diving in there, Barnden slaps it out the back door. Carter with the hurried kick. It's a foot race towards goal now. Bartlett leads in the race. Just worked off it by her opponent. Slapping it back towards the goal square. That's a little bit dangerous. Here's Hardy, beaten for the football though. How will the umpire see this? Because definitely Subiaco dived on it and it'll be a free kick. Holding the ball. So the free kick, point blank range. And the goal should be scored, and it is by Hardy. No, the umpire wants to bring her back on her angle. She'll be hoping she can be just as successful second time around.
The nerve ratio has just gone up through the roof. I've kicked one that didn't count.
So Ebony Hardy, she has kicked one this year for Peel. Shouldn't have too much trouble here despite the fact she's been put on the angle. Walks in, pops it over the goal umpire's hat. So Peel Thunder get the first goal of the game. Subiaco had done all the attacking. That was really their first inside 50, Jono.
Yeah, I think Peel, are trying to rush it through the middle. They do want to implement the switch, but if it doesn't happen, I think they're panicking the ball forward and they're not set up. But that time, they managed to have numbers come at the footy. They all worked together and they just kept getting that ball moving forward.
You're right. I think Subiaco had squeezed up beautifully. They had the ground ran it off, and Peel did what they needed to do, which was to get it over the back and over the top. And Carter's was a good kick deep forward. I guess Bartlett did enough down there against Walker. Probably a little error getting it going back to goal. Like McKinley so far, really swept well for Peel in defence.
So back in the middle, Peel, that one venture forward, successful in scoring a goal. Filicamo ducks under a tackle, then got caught the second time. Umpire calls play on. Harkin takes it out of the centre square, kicks for space at half forward. It's a 2-on-2 battle chasing this one towards the line. Subi might be just happy to get a finger to this one and force a boundary throw in. Lewis keeps it in, and then she's tackled well. Ball spills out to Jazz Surya. Hurried kick forward, beats all players. Renshaw provides the shepherd for Devlin, who puts a dangerous ball forward. Nice little use of the body from Subi, but in the end, a free kick's been paid. Well, that's unfortunate for Peel. I didn't think that Shannon Whale did a whole lot wrong there.
I think she did exactly what Toth did initially. Just a little bit of a
shove.
Strong hand, strong arm.
So Toth will get the free kick directly in front and should get the reply for Subiaco. They've worked hard enough to score a goal in the early stages, and they finally have one. Subiaco lead it by 3 points midway through the first quarter.
Wonderful Harkin. Get that ball long and deep. Sarah Lewis, she's a lady of 20 years old. She's absolutely looking fit to split. She's sprinting around nice and mobile. Halved that contest out here and allowed Josari to chop that ball forward. And from there, Tara Breslin lost her second one-on-one. I don't reckon she's lost a one-on-one this year.
So, for a while anyway.
Give me an angry young lady down there at the moment, I'd suggest.
And watch her bounce back now.
Absolutely. But when you're probably being generous saying that they were one-on-ones, I think the bounce of the ball probably eluded her a little, but expect her to impose herself on this contest.
Last time I saw her, she played forward against Claremont and kicked 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, she did.
Had a fantastic day on that occasion, but back to her more customary position in defence today. Quaife with a good leap at it in the middle. Comes off hands, down to Dowrick. The long left boot sends them deep into attack. Tracking it back. Unable to collect there was Shrubsall. Peel do manage to at least get it away from the goal mouth. Renshaw, was she tackled high? Yes, the umpire thinks so. Seen plenty of whistle early in this game. Both the goals in this match coming from free kicks, and now Renshaw can have a shot. Slight angle left of centre when she puts boot to ball from about 30 out. First game since the first round of the season. She thought about giving it off. Now sends it goalward. Doesn't have the carry. Peel keep it alive. Hurried kick. Lands in open space. Strong play. Nicely done there by Breslin. Clearing the area. Rosengrave overruns it. Leaves it for Dowson to collect. Gives a hand pass off. Rowley with the hurried kick towards the wing position. Hannah Camp, or Yaron in fact, collecting it well. Gives the hand pass away. Carter with a throw. The umpire spotted that one. Free kick to Subiaco. So still about 6 minutes to go in this quarter. Lewis, who's been working very hard in the early stages with the free kick. Goes with the left, long towards half forward. Comes off hands and goes out the back door. Rowley, hand passes out in front of herself, being hassled by Dowrick. Renshaw comes to supply a bit of support. The kick goes down the line. Rosengrave slapped it towards Lewis. She's well tackled. And the ball will be locked in for another ball up.
Lauren Quaife's strength around the ground as a ruck is her contested work at ground level.
In the action again there, Quaife. Comes out to Dowson. Sends it down the line with her kick. Bounces close to the line. Stays in initially. Comes off hands. And we'll see a boundary throw in just beneath the scoreboard. Subi by 3 points. Sensational day for football. Not a cloud in the sky. Just a little bit of breeze really blowing straight across the ground towards our commentary side of the ground. Quaife did well to get in front of Lewis and win it down. Ball comes out towards Carter again. She's caught front on. Filicamo doing the work. Jayasuriya puts a hand pass out in front of herself. Duffy strong over the football. Now she's caught though. Blackmore's dragged it down underneath her and the umpire decides to ball it up. Could have almost been a repeat of what we saw deep in the Peel forward line a moment ago. The free kick for holding the ball. Lewis wins it. Taken by Duffy. Wants her left side. Kicks with the outside the right boot in the end. Towards half forward. Good attack on the footy from Peel. Eventually collecting it was Hardy, the goal kicker. Gives a hand pass away. Barging away through. Quick kick forward for the Thunder. It's the umpire spotted here. A free kick called by the umpire out of position. He's going to give it to Subiaco. And Caitlin Walker will take it at half back. Pokes a kick over the top and Filicamo has it again. Chips it in short. Low down. Blackmore. Swings her kick towards half forward. It's over the top. Slapped away nicely there by Shrubsall. Here's McKinley rebounding off half back again. She likes to go down the middle when she attacks from that position. Ball clears all players. Claire Ortlip in best spot now. Tackled by Bartlett. Umpire should call this one a draw. And we're back where we were a minute or two ago. The ball just rebounding from half back to half back. 4 minutes to go in this quarter, Jono. How are you seeing things?
Yeah, Subia are much more controlled, I think, when they have possession, looking to hit those short targets and then try and build something from there. But they still just keep falling down at that half-forward line, which is quite common. Just need to find a way to break that line.
Darrick with the long bomb. Got over the back. Toth almost took the grab, running back with the flight at the end. I'm not sure, Deggers, whether it's just the kick of Darrick, but the kicks seem to be going a little bit further to the right of screen.
I like the idea if you say long from Darrick. It's definitely her one. It was a great penetrating kick. Toth would be a little bit disappointed not to have held that one, I think. Had the defence beaten all ends up.
She certainly strikes it like a driver. It's been flying off that left boot. Rowley uses it well. Hits Bartlett on the lead. I'd like a bit more out of Bartlett. That's a nice kick. Sets up Hardy, who juggles and takes it on about the third bite. And they swing it further forward. The kick to half forward. Malloy. She's wide out. Chips it in short. On the lead, Barnes, and it goes beneath her legs. Rachel Ortlip gives a hand pass away, and the ball is cleared out of defence momentarily, at least from Subiaco. Hardy just waited, wanted to become a tackler rather than win the footy, and in the end, the umpire says that's okay. We'll ball it up as the ball's handed back to the umpire by Ritchie. Now working in the ruck. Down towards Miller, who couldn't handle it. Rode tries to work her way through. Freeman got in the way and dives in. Leaves it for a teammate. Quaife couldn't handle it. Rode, hurried kick into the centre of the ground. Bad bounce for all players. Slips over the back. Pace from Devlin. Got onto the loose footy. Puts it out in front of Toth. Beaten back by her opponent. Goes to ground. That actually worked out very nicely for Shannon Whale. Although they can't clear it just yet, Peel. Subi with the numbers around the ball. Here's Stammers. Works onto her left side. Straightens up and kicks with her right. Into a dangerous position for the Peel defence. Breslin's there to save the day, but her kick goes straight down the throat of a Subiaco player, and the mark is taken by Ritchie. Ritchie has a lead in short. No one goes with Devlin, and she marks on her chest. It's about 40 metres out directly in front. So B. Devlin has been a goal kicker this year for Subiaco. 5 for the season, more than any other Subiaco player who is out there today. Of course, Tani Testa, the league's leading goal kicker, not out there this afternoon. She's kicked 15. Devlin close to the player on the mark, but it's a good long kick, and she's nailed it. So reward for effort now for Subiaco. They have been the better team in this first quarter, and with just over a minute to play, their lead's out to 9 points.
Yeah, the Peel defenders did everything right except that last kick that just straight to the Subi player and then didn't man up Devlin in there. Just probably prayed that the ball would go out and it just didn't get outside of their 50 too far. So just a little bit of lapse in concentration there from Peel, but I think their defence has held up really well today.
So Toth and Devlin, the goal kickers for Subiaco. That was an excellent kick. 45 metres on the fly. And perhaps the breeze just slightly favouring right of screen. A couple of those kicks seem to be travelling a little bit further in that direction. Important centre clearance inside the last minute. Coming through for Peel, unable to take it was Tilbrook, and the umpire will ball it up again. The coach is starting to consider what their message might be at quarter time as the Rucks go at it once more. Comes out the back towards Hannekamp. The kick going wide probably will make sure there's no further score in this quarter. Hannekamp follows it up. Jay Saria flicks a hand pass back to a teammate who's buried in a tackle. And that will just about do us in this first quarter. Subiaco have enjoyed the dominance of this first term. Peel really only going forward a couple of times. They have managed a goal in this first term, but Subiaco lead it by 9 points. As the siren sounds to end proceedings in the first quarter, the Lions by 9 points. Goals to Toth and Devlin for Subiaco, while Hardy kicked Peel's goal. We'll be back with second quarter action after these messages.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
There's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're the lady.
Quarter time in the WAFLW round 10 between top of the table Subiaco and the bottom place Peel Thunder, and it's the league leaders leading it by 9 points at quarter time, as you can see some of the highlights of the first term down here at David Gray's Arena. David Lindsay, Clint Degebright and Emily Johnson, your commentators this afternoon. Toth and Devlin, the goal scorers for Subiaco. Hardy kicked the only goal for Peel Thunder. But Jono, really Subiaco, probably, if you look at field position, it was in their attacking half for probably 75% of that first quarter, and maybe in the end they didn't really get full value for money.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, but full credit to the Peel defenders. They chopped off a lot of ball and just didn't allow Subi to have real quality inside 50s. But then when Subi did manage to get a quality inside 50, mainly off the boot of Dowrick, and just that penetrating kick that just gets it over those defenders and breaks that line, Subi had a little bit of success in that way.
Highlights just showing how much footy Jamie Harkin had, and also Greta McKinley. For me, it's Subi's short kick that works. They leave. They'd work for that 20. Other teams roll back to intercept at 35 and 40, and Peel just Subi just continued to connect with Filacamo through that midfield, and she's just such an important player for her because she's prepared to do a 15-minute lead. Really like the way they've got Peel rounded up. They've got the outside balance, and of course when it's in their forward 50, Subiaco squeeze up the ground really well. So the message for Peel, has to be to locate, pair off 1v1 on Oppo ball, particularly when they turn it over in their forward half. And they need to just slow down Subi's ball movement through the box. Plenty to like about what Subi are doing, and I think you're right too, Jono. Peel are in this game. It's just a matter of getting those defensive connections with their mids, and then maybe just a bit of extra run so they can kick it over Subi's setup behind the ball.
Yeah, it seemed I think early on in that quarter, that's what they tried to do, get the fast play on and get the ball into their forward line quickly. But as you said, they're just missing those connections and just squeezing it up so they don't have the person down the field to take the mark. And
they're getting close, really close to each other in the stoppage.
Yeah, they just can't get the ball out.
Yeah, so one little 1 metre handballs instead of 3. Meanwhile, Subi using the foot by 15 or a 6 metre sweep handball. So they're also controlling the front of the box too, Dave, with some long kicking from both Devlin and from Dowrick. That's Mackenzie version. Of course, Abby not back in the side yet after a little tweak of the knee. And Peel would be rejoicing the fact that they don't have the speed of Tane Tester at the back of the tail. Toth's been a worthy replacement.
I was going to say that the last time these two teams met back in round 5, Subi won by 51 points. They kicked 10-10 on that occasion, Jono, and Tester kicked 6. So Peel would have been very happy when they saw the team sheet come out Thursday night and there was no Tane Tester on the list.
I think Shannon Wah would have had a good night's sleep last night because she was the one that went and stood her. And I said to Shannon, I saw her the next day, and said, you need to send an angry email to your coach saying, after 2, you should have got me forward.
It is fascinating with this WAFL women's competition. The formation of the teams seems to change from week to week. The availability of AFLW players, we don't see too many of them out here today, and also the State 18s who obviously were away during the week, so none of them are back out here at the moment as well. So both teams with a different configuration to what we'll see probably for the rest of the season. A few of the AFLW players will be back. Here is one, Duffy, who gets a shove from behind by Filakama and then gives her a fend off as she gets to her feet to take the free kick.
I wonder if she propped to draw that free kick. She's pretty clever, Duff. She's moved the ball 15 metres forward without a possession.
Long kick towards the top of the goal square, reading it best and backing back to take the mark. Pretty much unopposed deep in defence for Subiaco. A long kick coming out of that defensive end, looking for Filakamo. She's got Duffy for company again. Duffy works her way to the front, was tackled to ground without the ball, I thought. Chance for Blackmore to keep it in. Couldn't do so. And there'll be a boundary throw-in.
It's good to see Duffy active early. She was a bit quiet in that first quarter and she's already got herself a clearance and been involved in a lot of the play here.
I should have mentioned Dowrick was the player deep in defence who read the kick from Duffy so well to take the mark in the back pocket. Surya bumped by Dowson. It was a fairly careful bump from Dowson. She certainly didn't line her up. Ball comes back to Filakamo. Sends the kick forward. Awkward bounce for all players. Breslin reading it best. Needs to pick this one up cleanly. Does well. Traps the footy and then sidesteps Renshaw. Kicks across the body. That was very clever from Blackmore. Just palmed it back to Filakamo. Gets it back from the number 1. Long towards centre half forward. McKinley just lost flight of that ball for a moment. Ball slapped into the middle for Ritchie to take. She puts it into space. It's a good kick. Rode is a runner, and away she goes. Crosses the 50, steadies at about 35. It's a good-looking kick off the boot. How will it bounce? It sits up on its end and allows Peel to run it through for a behind. But Rode, she's an exciting player. You can see there why Fremantle have popped her on the rookie list.
Yeah, very exciting. And like for someone that hasn't played a whole lot of footy, that was a very nice kick on the run. Just didn't quite have the distance. She probably could have taken a bounce and run another 15 metres.
Won the Jill McIntosh medal for the best netballer in the state a couple of years ago and now deciding to head down the footy pathway. And I think we'll watch her development at AFLW level with some interest over the next year or two. She's got some tricks in her game.
She's got a reputation as one of the better humans that's walking the earth too.
That's always
very
handy.
Popular young lady or very popular leader within her community too. She's with the Wapunda Foundation.
Lewis with the kick into the pocket. Renshaw didn't get the kind bounce on that occasion. Peel get back in number. Good smother from Lewis, though. Gives Renshaw another opportunity. That chance didn't last long. She was tackled immediately, but they force a stoppage. 5 metres out from goal. Lauren Quaife comes down to do the ruck work against Lewis. Palm down. Quick kick from Subiaco. Came from, I think it was Devlin. Couldn't make the distance. Tunnel ball out the back to Renshaw. Whistle has gone. Free kick will go the way of Subi. The player doing the tunnel balling was tackled without the football, I think you'll find. And the free kick will go the way of the Lions. And it will be Toth. So she received a free kick at the top of the goal square at the other end of the ground in the first quarter. and can now kick her second from pretty much the same spot at the northern end of the ground. She's wearing the number 32 today with the Indigenous NAIDOC Week jumpers on. Normally wears 12 for Subiaco. And to give Subiaco a 16-point lead, she sliced it off the boot, and that's one she'd like to have back again. 11 points is Subiaco's lead instead.
back to the old days of the waffle with Frio's AFLW backline star jumping the fence to retrieve her own footy. Darren Fryo would have his hand over his eyes at the moment.
There is a spare footy behind the goals at the southern end, but no spare football at that end, which is a little unusual. I thought they might have had one at either end, but not today. So as you say, Breslin having to do her own work. Here's Devlin now. Tried to hand pass to Filicamo. Ball eluded her. Back to Devlin. Good trap from Lewis on the bounce. She's immediately tackled. And the umpire will call for a ball up. She's been very active today, Lewis. Been involved in most things.
Little's gone out of her way at different times. Demi Little to front Lewis as well. And Lewis and her having a nice little battle off the footy.
Here is Little now. Gives a hand pass away to Duffy. Wants to take Road on, and she wrapped her up. Good tackle. And Road will take the free kick. We're in front of the old netball pavilion down here at David Gray's Arena. She'll poke the kick over the top. It's a good kick. And Ritchie sneaks in to take the mark. Subiaco looking at these little chip passes. Lewis diving in low. Couldn't quite take it. Jasaria's kick partly smothered. Toth with a chance up against the boundary. Snaps it goalward. It's offline. Another behind, but she continues to be a danger in the forward line for Subi. So the lead 12 points.
Call for there for a set play called, was that Grainy Ball?
Grainy Ball.
Rainy Ball? Hearing that coming off the bench, ordered from the coach's box.
Maybe Rowley Ball. The ball went towards her. McKinley now almost wore one high there. Umpire decides to ball it up on attacking 50 again. Umpires today, Matt Armstrong and Liam Baston, doing a good job so far. We've got the Peel coaches alongside us, so you can hear a little bit of, or we can hear a little bit of what they've got to say.
Hopefully the crowd can't hear, the listening audience can't hear everything they're saying.
Quick kick from Stammers. Gets it inside 25. Breslin receives that ball on the up from Little. Kick comes out of there too. Subi players collide. Could open up an opportunity for Peel, although the tackle from Blackmore shuts that down very quickly. And another stoppage required.
Yeah, it's what bit of leadership there too, and it's from Courtney Rowley, who just locked that ball up there. Too much paddling from Peel at the moment at halfback. They need to clear this footy. Courtney Rowley was the one that absorbed the pressure there and tried to lock the ball in.
Hayley Miller, haven't called much of her today, but she bursts from this stoppage. A high kick towards full forward, reading it best and able to take a mark at the top of her defensive goal square. Down there is Brooke Shrubsall. Kicks to a one-on-one. Freeman traps the footy, confronted by Road, but gets her kick away. Down the line it goes. Another one-on-one contest. Cleverly done at the back by Peel, and they get the kick away down the wing. Claire Ortlett, though, reading it best. Post to Barndon. Kicks it high. Standing underneath it, Marnie. And she takes the mark.
Just Peel not being able to connect in their forward line at the moment. I don't think they're not quite set up in front of the footy. If they could work on that, they'll be able to get some marks there and hopefully get it in their forward 50.
And going the opposite direction, Subiaco able to pinpoint these passes. Maintaining possession and gaining ground. Harkin gets them inside 50. Stammers slipped through her fingertips. Jayasaria and Toth sneaking out the back. Jayasaria tackled, loses the football. Toth did well. Hand pass back to Stammers. Snap on goal. Was it touched on the line? It was.
Wonderful.
Very good effort right on the line. And the touch affected by Tilbrook. It's a good attempted shepherd from Subiaco as well, but couldn't quite get it.
Good shot from
the line.
From Lauren Stammers too. Turned 28 on Friday. I should give her a smile.
So she was one of the assistant coaches with the State 18s. Might be a good time for us, Steg, to talk a bit about how the girls went. A win and a tough loss against Vic Metro, and then a very narrow one against Country. Little frustrated maybe on the way home, not just from the delayed flight.
I guess it was a wonderful little mark there to Peel as they try to connect their way forward again. Jessica Ritchie chops it off. They were very good, and they're probably a little disappointed. I thought they might have deserved that win against Vic Country. Just run out of puff 3 games in a week. We don't agree with that format. It's too much footy in a week.
Chance for Stammers to set something up for Subiaco. Stabs it in low. Lewis on the lead. So too Road. Picked it up well around the bootlaces. Straightened up nicely, but then sent the kick wide to the right. And the mark's been taken by Whale, who then dashes out of defence. Kicks long. Asks a fair bit of Barndon opposed to 2 Lions here. There's no one forward of halfway for Peel if they do win the football, which they do. And now Freeman has no one to kick to. She just has to kick for distance and hope that maybe Yaron can run on and apply some pressure here on Rachel Ortlup. Ortlup does well. Hand pass down the line towards Marnie. She's run down from behind. That's a great tackle. How will the umpires see this? A boundary throw in.
That's a little unfair. It's a 3-game format. They had the game. They did everything right. Just under pressure, just late in the game. This is our state 18s, of course. They just reverted to a few bad habits that they've picked up over the years and weren't able just to get the ball where they need to get it at the right time. I think from all reports and from what I saw too, it's wonderful. Some players from WA, wonderful showcase of their talent. So would have liked an extra win, but I think they did their job in terms of showcasing WA talent on the East Coast.
Do they pick an All-Australian team at the end of that carnival?
They do, yeah. So they've taken a bit extra time with it this year, so it'll be announced this week. The number of players in contention. Michaela Bowen was awarded MVP for WA. You'd imagine she'd make her way into the All-Australian side. Strong performance from Sarah Verrier and Mim Strom as well. Sophie McDonald in the back. So a couple of different clubs represented.
Subiaco inside attacking 50 again here.
It was Tilbrook.
Call for a ball up.
Tilbrook was the classy intercept that classy connect that we didn't mention. So
Richie and Quaife to do the ruck work here at this stoppage. Well, thrown to ground, Appeal player should get a free kick and does. So the Thunder with a chance to clear. They trail by 13 points. It's 9 scoring shots to 1. Could have been a whole lot more, and it might still yet. Subiaco win it at half forward. In comes Hannah Camp, wants to take them all on. Fires a hand pass backwards. Harkin intercepts. Pops it out in front of Filacamo. She was strong with the fend off. Away to Road again. Loves a bit of space to run into. Pops a kick over the top. A little bit too far for Toth, but she's good enough to gather it on the bounce. Up against the boundary. Doesn't fire away. Gets a hand pass back in the Road direction. She gives it back once more to Toth. But eventually the Peel Thunder defence through Grieve shut that down. Her kick partly smothered. Harkin with the hurried kick forward. Stretching and marking McKinley. She's been good in defence for Peel. Sends her kick to Bresland in the pocket. And Bresland has a player breaking in Bartlett, working down the ground to mark at half back.
Haven't got this ground stretched out at all, so it's going to slow down and will come to a halt very shortly with no player in the forward half for Peel.
Well, that's a good grab right in front of our broadcast position through Hardy, and this is where the options do shut down.
No one is stretching the ground out.
And then as a result, she's forced to go very wide and Carter can't get it to it inside the line. So it's out of bounds on the full. It's been a frustration of Emily Johnson, who's sitting away to our right.
Gesticulating.
Where are the Peel forwards? They're all up the ground. This one will go off hands and out of bounds. What do you do in this situation, Jono? Can you send a message out with the runner and just explain exactly where the players need to be?
I think you just need to, with the forwards, they just need to be aware of where each other are, and you have your deepers forward and you make sure that they are the anchor and they hold that spot. Watching the Claremont game yesterday, they did the same thing. Their anchor kind of got drawn to the footy a bit much, so they missed those opportunities out the back and deeper inside their forward 50 and down the ground.
Good collect from Claire Ortlip, but a hand pass went straight up in the air. Jay Saria does okay, shovels it forward. Peel holding them up for the moment, but again, the Lions keep swarming. Jay Saria has another go. Kicks it into a dangerous position, directly in front of goal, about 40 out. Toth is onto the loose ball again. Hooks it towards the goal square. Breslin's read this best. She gets back and juggles and takes a timely mark.
Still no attempt to stretch the ground out. All Peel players in the front half of the ground.
Breslin kicks long and wide. It's a good kick. And coming up to take the mark is Barndon. Now players start to shuffle across towards that outer side. The kick in the direction of Hardy slips through her fingertips. Duffy applies a good tackle. Subiaco player pretending to get the hand pass out. Never really interested there. Claire Ortlip happy with the stoppage at half forward. Got 5 minutes to go in this term. We haven't seen a goal as yet for the second quarter. Subiaco continue to add behinds to their tally. They've kicked 4 of them in the quarter. Peel haven't really ventured forward at all in this term. We'll see another stoppage it's that balance, isn't it? They know that Subiaco are very good attacking sides, so they're looking to defend first, but as a result, they're losing their forward structure totally. I guess at some stage, you've got to try to win the game, Deggers, and maybe take a risk.
Well, what Jono called for here has happened now. They've got a triangle in front of the ball, so they've actually got to chain to goal. Quick kick out to Hardy here. We'll see them inside forward 50, and Barndon will have the run of it, but it's just a matter of winning this stoppage now.
So Duffy gets the kick away, doesn't clear the congestion though. Filicamo shrugs the tackle as she so often does, kicks well to Jaya Saria. Renshaw was there as well, neither could mark. Good tackle from Renshaw. Ball does spill out the back door, and Peel can clear. The kick from Breslin clears the area well. Getting across for Subiaco. Pinar, hand pass to Rode. Doesn't direct this kick quite as well as some of the others she's had today. And Breslin has been a rock in defence. Kicks well, kicks for distance. Attacking it nicely. Subiaco do well there through Rachel Ortlip. Dowrick, pinpoint pass. Gets it to Devlin. She's outside 50. Kicks into the corridor. Dowson read it well. Gets across in front of Toth. Makes the spoil and then wins the football. Chance here for Shrubsall to kick for space. Maybe this is the chance here for Peel. Can they set something up? They'll need to get the run going. Rowley provides an option there. That was ignored. The kick comes back inboard. Grieve worked off it. Ritchie gains about 10 metres with her kick. Coming in the opposite direction, attacking it well and earning a side. A free kick is Quaife. So 3 minutes remaining in the quarter now. Kick from Duffy, out wide, through the hands of Rowley. Rowley gets a hand pass inboard. Grieve attacked it hard, was tackled well. Ritchie did very nicely there to ride that bump and still apply a tackle. You can see her head go back, almost whiplash sort of style. Ends up with another draw. Tossed in the air, Duffy working away from goal, collects the footy. Hand pass towards Dowson. She was tackled high. She'll get a free kick. Sabrina Duffy, Jono, probably a bit short of a run, just not quite as clean as what we've come to expect from her.
Yeah, you can tell when she's getting tired, she gets that fumbly ball and just tries to keep it in front, little soccer taps and things like that. But she's trying to get herself into the game and showing a bit of leadership by injecting herself and demanding the footy. So I think it's good from her, and I think she'll get stronger and stronger as this game goes on.
Hasn't played a lot of footy, of course, since that ankle injury she suffered very late in the AFLW season. Just the one WAFLW game so far this year. And even after that game, I think she had a game off last week as well. Free kick will go the way of Subiaco. Kick taken quickly by Pinar. Out towards Miller, who's been very inconspicuous today. We'd expect more action from Hayley Miller. She gets a free kick on this occasion. She'll be one of the fitter players out there as well, so we'd expect the second half to really grow. Harkin had plenty of the football. Thought about a switch. That wasn't on. Decides to come wide, and Blackmore drops the chest mark. But got a push in the back afterwards from Carter. And so Blackmore will get the free kick. There's 90 seconds left on the clock. Chance for Subiaco to go forward. Filicamo runs under the football. Coming through at the backs, Hannah Kampf does well. Sends it over the top. Getting back and reading it well, Rachel Ortlip. Again, no one really hitting up on the lead for Peel. They all want it over the back, and Rachel Ortlip was awake to it. So it's Marnie now on the exit for Subi. Kicks to Miller. Judged it well. Couldn't finish off the mark. Rowley had it for a moment. Carter there. Diving in on top again, Miller. Carter won't let it go, though. And fights on very nicely to force another stoppage now at half forward for Peel.
Well, wonderful by Carter to just get a hand on the footy there, because Miller was out of there.
Ready to go.
She was in a sprint start. She was going to cut through the middle of the ground.
Nice ruck work. Down to Grieve. Sends it high towards a one-on-one. Spoil came from behind by Peel. And again, we'll see a stoppage now on the 50. Rachel Ortlip doing well to hold things up. The sisters there side by side in defence with Hardy and also Barndon. So Ritchie wins it down. Clearing kick comes from the Lions. Out of the area by Pinar. Dowrick is there. Leaves it for a teammate. Clever little kick to Renshaw. Came from Blackmore. Renshaw wants to move it on. It's one-on-one forward of the play. Breslin's left Stammers, and she's read it very well. She knew how much space she could afford to give to Stammers, knowing she could get across and cut off the mark. And she saved the day as the siren's about to go to end the first half.
A little bit of gamesmanship too, you'd think, from Bress.
Yeah.
Just to hold things up.
Should wind it down to the siren, which sounds right now. So a goalless second quarter. Subiaco kicked 4 behinds. Peel didn't hit the scoreboard at all in that second term. So as it was at quarter time, the only goal kickers in the game are Devlin and Toth for Subiaco. Hardy's kicked Peel's only goal. And at half-time, it's the league leaders Subiaco leading by 13 points over Peel Thunder here at David Gray's Arena. We'll take a break and be back to wrap up the first half and look forward to the second half after these messages.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
It's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're lately in a hurdle. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Half-time here at David Gray's Arena in round 10 WAFLW action. Peel Thunder hosting Subiaco, and the Lions lead it 2-7-19 to 1 straight goal 6 at half-time. As we see some of the highlights from the second quarter, David Lindsay alongside Clint Degebrot and Emily Johnson. And Jono, it was a real battle in that second quarter. Neither team actually managed to find a goal. Subi should have scored. I think there were 1 or 2 occasions where they had a fairly straightforward shot, but really Peel unable to get much of a hold on this game at all so far. Yeah,
not really. Just struggling to set up in front of the ball in their forward line. Just can't get that connect. There's no quality. They're not having any quality disposal in their forward half. So it's you'd think that Adam Dancy would address that at the halftime and see them come up with something a little bit different. But Taylor Breslin has been an absolute weapon in defence, just stopping everything that comes, and she's really saving Peel here.
Deggers, from a Subiaco perspective, we said pre-game that this was a danger game for them. A lot of their key players out of the game, but they've held up well and really should be further in front.
Yeah, more contributors across the ground, I think. If we had a look at the stat sheet, if that was available, I think you'd see a lot of possessions through the midfield of Subiaco, a couple through the defenders. They're defending quite well, but a lot in the front half of the ground too, with Harkin, Filacamo and Rode dominating the midfield, whereas the Peel best players are all in the back. Time for another great story produced by the West Coast media team. We'll hear a fair bit here about one of the legends of WA women's football in Jan Cooper. You can see more of these Eagles stories on West Coast Eagles website.
If female footy development was ever going to take off and we were ever going to get to a national league, you just didn't take no for an answer. Don't take it personally, just try different ways, different paths. I fell in love with the game because of my dad. I used to follow him to his football matches. From an early age, I was given that signal that I couldn't play football, that it was just for my brothers and, you know, other boys. And it was quite annoying because I wasn't bad at kicking the pack in the backyard. There was a time, for example, when a current boyfriend I had, I took a specky mark over him and he got really furious. I'd always been involved as an avid fan with Swan Districts because that was my dad's club. Because I had a human movement degree and I'd done lots of first aid, he said, would you like to perhaps be a trainer? And I thought, yeah, I'd love to, in an era where that wasn't the done thing. And then as I got older, my husband was working in football development. He came home one day and said, do you want to come and watch the Women's League Grand Final? I went, what? There's a Women's League? But I was too old by then. For a split second there, I thought, I wonder if I possibly could. But no, the opportunity passed me by. So when I joined the WA Football Commission, it had me getting girls involved at every role, at every level. When we went to Clubland, we realised that we actually had to spend a lot more time providing some evidence about why it would be a good thing for the club to have females involved. And it was things like, well, isn't football going to hurt my daughter, you know? Well, aren't they going to lose their femininity? Well, what's being feminine mean? To me, it's being confident, empowered, having a go at whatever you want to have a go at. One of the other barriers was the resourcing side of things. It took me a fair bit of cajoling to get me, as the WA Football Commission rep, to my first Women's National Carnival and help the state team. There was lots of other practices that I felt could be elevated to make it a much better experience. So I wrote an email to the AFL saying, this is what I found. How about these ideas to help perhaps resolve the issues or concerns that I have. So David Matthews was the one I sent this to, and he went, yeah, I like the sound of this. Oh, off you go, do it one day a week for the AFL. But then the following year, the AFL went, you have to be full-time with us, and we have to get a full-time female development manager into every state and territory as a minimum. At that point, there were 16,000 girls and women running around. In 2010, we then set a national vision, which was if we could have 250,000 women and girls running around, we would have the depth of talent to put on the park a national league. And we would hope by then we'll have developed it enough that it would be televised. But before all of that happened, of course, there was so many other barriers. Every state manager in female football development was now experiencing exactly the same things as I had done in the past. And so that's when I changed my thinking from maybe instead of trying to change a whole system, a whole organisation, what if I just pick off the major decision makers and start to make an impact there? So when Richard Goyder became the chair of the AFL, he was a keynote speaker at a leadership conference in Perth. So I thought, gee, it'd be really nice while we're in the same room together to be able to have a quick chat. So when he got off the stage, I virtually hightailed it across the room. What are you up to now, Richard? Is there any chance we can have a chat? And he said yes. I was able to go through and chat to him about particular issues. And at that point, there was a call to arms, and he did enact a particular action to help out. We had an exhibition game prior to a Melbourne-Collingwood match at the MCG, the 40 best female talents. Andrew Demetrio was the CEO of the AFL at the time, and I'd been trying to get him to see a female game, and apparently was going, how good is this? That's when the naysayers started paying attention, because they actually understood how good these girls were. When I watch AFLW games now, I have so much tears of joy moments. It's when you're walking through the crowd and you ask a young girl, who's your favourite player? And they actually can reel off about 3 or 4 AFLW players. And when I see some of those early girls like Chelsea Randall, Kiara Bowers, Daisy Pearce, Emma Zilke, who've given their heart and soul to this game, have expended thousands of dollars on their own talent pathway development. My heart just leaps with joy for them because I know what their road's been like. If one pathway doesn't work for you, then try a different one. There's lots of different ways to get to different destinations. And if you mix that in with a bit of tenacity, a bit of bravery, then you're going to get there.
Jan Cooper there, one of the legends of WA women's football, as we turn our attention to the ladder. And this was the ladder coming into this round. East Fremantle played Claremont yesterday and the Tigers got up. So a little change to that ladder right at the moment. Claremont can be shifted up to second spot, and then Swans and East Fremantle slide down one. Swans with the bye today. I guess if we were looking at a live ladder, as they love to do on the AFL coverage, even when it doesn't make a whole lot of difference, Jono, they would be adding 4 points to Subiaco at the moment because they lead comfortably here at the moment. We'd love to see a Peel fight back, wouldn't we? That would make things very tight for everybody.
If you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, how would Taylor Danielle describe that? Because you know what? Last time we said it was close.
Yes.
We got a pasting.
We did, didn't we?
I personally got a pasting.
All right, we'll take an ad break. We'll think about how Taylor might describe that as we go to this break. We'll be back with the third quarter after these messages.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
It's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold. It's fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Some more highlights here from the match between Subiaco and Peel Thunder down here at David Gray's Arena. At half-time, it's Subiaco leading 2-7-19 to Peel 1 straight goal 6 as the Thunder side make their way back out onto the field in front of us at the moment. David Lindsay, Clint Degebrot and Emily Johnson here in commentary for you, just discussing the plans for tonight. Deggers is going to watch some Brisbane Lions against Port Adelaide. I think Jono might have the cricket on. She might be watching the World Cup final
Certainly,
tonight.
yeah.
Or maybe Roger and Novak. It's a good night, actually, after go home, watch the replay of this one, of course, on YouTube for us. And then, I don't know, which way do you go? A bit of England, New Zealand?
I think you do a bit of everything.
Bit of Wimbledon?
You overlook the fact that I'm going to mow the lawn and have a
Of
kebab.
course. You always mow the lawn. Any spare minutes you've got, you mow the lawn. It's the best-looking lawn in Inglewood, the place in 9th Ave. Didn't give away too much. Just find the best-looking lawn. Just knock on his door. Let him know.
Just stop you there.
This match, what can Peel do to get back into it, Jono? We've talked a little bit about their structure forward of the ball. It's been non-existent at times. They started to find something late in that second quarter, but still couldn't find any avenue to goal.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to work on that, and I think the intent to win the ball. Peel are known to be a hard team, and they hit hard, they tackle hard, and they make you know you've played a game of footy at the end of it. So I would like to see that from them as well. Just get a bit of mongrel about them and really attack the game and try and get a goal early in this quarter and give themselves a little bit of momentum.
I wonder if it's the weather, Deg. We've seen a lot of wet weather in Perth over the last month or two, and teams have probably got used to that hard in and under, lots of bumps and bruises. And today it's the best day we've had in Perth for over a month, and everyone seems to be playing outside, nice, fancy footy today. There's not as many physical hard collisions today as what we've seen in the WAFLW this year.
We did mention off air that it's like they've been feeling each other out in terms of just to see what's going to happen, what's going to go on. Peel can't play their running game, as Jono said, because they don't have the outside balance, but Subiaco are just doing enough through the middle of the ground. The repeat entries, I think, Jono, this is what I've sort of written down here, is as Subiaco build their repeat entries, the Peel forwards the Peel forwards are marching up the ground and closing the ground up, so they're allowing themselves to be squeezed up and they can't travel.
Yep.
So one of the solutions to that, of course, from Peel is let's get a defensive connection to the midfield and actually play a bit of kick and catch through the box before they can then strike. And if they're going to get the ball out the back, I think that's absolutely fine, but they have to strike from a little closer, so from the launch pad in terms of that 60 metres out, long ball in. So it's just a bit of ball control, I think, for Peel. And I think Subiaco don't have to do anything different. The short's really working, and they're running so hard. Lyndall Road, Jamie Harkin, Lyra Filacamo, ominous signs from Millett and Darrick, who are just starting to get started. And Renshaw's been handy through the front half of the ground.
I think it's the zinc.
It's the zinc.
The July zinc. It's working nicely for Ash Renshaw. They're in the huddle at the moment.
Make sure she goes and eyeballs the umpire too. I'm the one with the zinc, number 9.
Yeah, just pop my name at the bottom of the voting sheet for a sneaky 1 or 2.
Whereas, as I was saying before, just before we went to a couple of breaks, was all the best players on the ground for Peel playing in their back half.
Yes, certainly Breslin and McKinley have saved a couple of goals deep in defence, and there's been 1 or 2 other players down there that have stood up quite well under the pressure.
I've been rough on Rowley, sorry.
Rowley's been good again.
I think Rowley's been very good on that wing, and Thayer's trying to work at half forward to get the ball going forward. So signs from their youngsters.
It's quite remarkable, isn't it? Courtney Rowley, I think people in women's footy or junior girls footy have known her for a long, long time. You look on the footy budget sheet here, she doesn't turn 16 until September 24. So she's 15 and still got months to go before she turns 16. She's out here in WAFLW, more than holding her own on a wing. And she's done that throughout the season. So got some real talent. We'll see a lot more of her over the years, firstly in WAFLW and then hopefully in AFLW as well as we get ourselves underway here in the third quarter. Subiaco with a fairly comfortable cushion. 13 points is their lead, although here goes Sabrina Duffy looking to ignite the Thunder side. Pumps it straight down the middle. It bounces off the chest of Barnden. Rebounds towards Yarran. That was a golden opportunity for Peel. Unfortunately, Barnden couldn't take it. Hardy with another opportunity here. She's shut down very quickly. And that was exciting play for Peel. What a shame that Barnden couldn't take the chest mark in the end.
And Maddie Yarran's kick was smothered. Of course, saw that a lot in the 18s carnival. Just kicking around the corner off one step really channels what you're going to do and allows the ball to be smothered.
Hardy hacks it forward, gains 20 metres, into the pocket it goes. Barnden is there. She leaves it for a teammate, spinning out of trouble. The hand pass from Bartlett gives it away to Barnden, and the kick goes out of bounds on the full. And again, we might see one of our players have to jump the fence. No, the spare footy's at that end. They've got a spare footy at both ends this time. Must be listening into our commentary.
Now, what I've been impressed with Claire Orlott full stop this year. She's been a good player for a long, long time, but her kicking has gone to the next level.
That one spins well off the boot. Clears defensive 50. And Subiaco, they seem to escape their defensive end a lot easier than what Peel do. Jaya Saria comes up to meet this one. She was just tugged on the back of the jumper by Breslin, who knew all about it, put the hands up to apologise. And then Jaya Saria takes the free kick. Her kick as well. Carries some distance towards Stammers. She wasn't able to take the mark. Then she falls into the back of her opponent. No free kick. Umpire will ball it up instead, close to half forward.
See what Subiaco's done here is the game is very long for Subiaco. Again, they got representation. Every little short kick in handball, they've got representation. Like Shrubsville very much, like what you did there too, 1-on-1.
Kick forward, heads in the Renshaw direction. The kick came from Filacamo. Good little feedback hand pass. Kick inside towards Jaya Saria. Feeds it back itself towards Ritchie. High kick, a torpedo off a step. It clears the pack. Stammers has got the open goal square if she wants it. Doesn't chase it down because the free kick has been given to Sarah Lewis directly in front of goal. And this is pretty much the way the first quarter started. She had a couple of shots early. Her opponent's gone and chased the football, thinking it's her free kick, but it was Lewis's free kick.
Sarah Lewis led her.
Yeah, she stood there, stood on the mark.
Now,
very confusing.
I think any replay there would show some strong holding from Sarah Lewis, and I reckon that was an equal wrestle. If anything, Sarah Lewis held on a little longer.
So Lewis missed a couple of shots from pretty much this exact spot on the ground in the first quarter. They missed to the right when she had her shots earlier today. This time about 25 out with the left boot. She's swinging it to the right and hits the goalpost. Well, she really should have at least 2, if not 3 goals today, and they're keeping Peel interested with their inaccuracy in front of goal. 2 goals, 8. Subiaco.
Just ground slant slightly to our...
Downwards towards us, you reckon?
Surely.
The breeze is
definitely...
definitely...
You might be right about the breeze.
Well, the windsock over there on where the old scoreboard used to be certainly suggests the breeze is coming this way. Here's Renshaw. And if she has gone to school on the previous kick, she'll set this one just left of the left-hand goalpost, and it should swing back nicely for her.
Comfortable range for Ash from here. She has an accurate kick. She doesn't have a long kick.
Played the opening game this season against Swan Districts. We haven't seen her at WAFLW level since then. She runs to the right and she kicks to the right, and she misses as well.
So only accurate if that's where she was aiming. So. Done it again. Sorry, Subiaco. Actually, would have liked to see Ash drop one from there.
So Peel, little chip pass back into play, having to dive and make that kick okay was Scout McCormack. It's the short lead from McKinley. That's ignored. Goes longer to Breslin. Good position for the ball to go to. Miller made it a contest. Breslin wins it when it hits the ground. Kicks high down the line. Thayer, one out. Good spoil. Knocked it over the back. Gives Hardy a chance. She kicks into space towards half forward. Foot race. Close to the line. Good tackle applied by Subiaco through Walker. And we'll see a ball up. Barndon unable to break free from that tackle. Probably one of the more promising passages of play there from Peel today. Quaife wins in the ruck. Filicamo worked off it. She comes for a second attempt. Gives a hand pass away to Ritchie. Kicks inboard. Little fumble. Could be costly there for McKinley. Subiaco have the runners on the outside. They've done it well. Blackmore kicks to centre half forward. On the lead, Stammers. Couldn't take the mark. It falls nicely for Road. She pops a hand pass over the top to Renshaw. Hand pass goes towards Devlin. Needed the clean take and she would have been on her way towards goal. Free kick's been picked out by the umpire. A high tackle. Devlin will get it back. Distance just beyond her. She kicks to the lead of Lewis. It clears her head over the top. Under pressure deep in defence. Breslin does well. A little fend off bought her a little bit of time. Kicks the torpedo. It clears defensive 50. Miller will bring it back in though. Shrugs 2 tackles. Runs to 45. Long on goal. And again the breeze catches hold of that one and drags it away to the right. Subiaco at 2 goals 10. Peel Thunder are 1 straight. Just past the 5-minute mark of this third quarter.
Probably representative of sort of 12 or 14 shots to 3, isn't it?
Been a couple that haven't scored as well, yep.
Yep, Lions' share of the footy, obviously, to the Lions.
So Grieve with the kick, but that's not well directed. Harkin in front, takes the mark, hands it off to Renshaw. She doesn't want to shoot. She wants to share it into the pocket. It goes for Road, who will snap it across the body. It's going to drift across the face. Stammers stretching, can't get to it. We'll see a boundary throw in now, right forward pocket.
I think you got a right to handball it off to Mackenzie Darrick on the foot.
So the umpire comes inside the boundary. I do like this rule. Wouldn't mind seeing it at a few other levels of footy as well. The boundary throw in now towards the hot spot. Lewis wins it. Quaife grabs it on the bounce. The umpire calls for a stoppage. Quaife and Lewis go at it again. Lewis wins this one. Slap forward by Toth. Peel try to emerge with the footy. Carter has nowhere to go. Jasaria running away from goal. Hand pass away. The umpire in the centre of the ground spotted that hand pass was a throw. So the free kick will go the way of Peel Thunder and will be taken by Savannah Hannekamp, one of the best names in WAFLW, I reckon. Great one for the commentators to get stuck into. This ball going close to the line, kept in by Rachel Ortlip. She's got players inside if she's good enough, and she is. They eventually feed it back to her sister in Claire, who kicks nicely inside. Mark for Harkin. Sends her kick out wide for Miller. They're using the angles well here, Subiaco. Miller towards full forward with her kick. Needs a mark from Peel. It doesn't get taken. Renshaw bounces her kick across the face of goal. Lewis wants to keep this one inside the field of play. Taken away, though, by Breslin, saving the day once more for Peel. They would be a long, long way behind if it wasn't for the efforts of Taylor Breslin today. Subiaco still keeping it well inside their attacking end. Sent back inside towards the top of the goal square. Here's Miller onto the loose ball. Has a player over the top. The kick goes towards Lewis. Too much on it. And saving the day again on the goal line is Breslin. Her kick on the way out is effective as well for Freeman. And Freeman with the left boot towards the lead of Hardy. It goes over her head. At the back is Hannekamp. Good collect. Hand pass was shut down though. Devlin did well. Leaves it now for Blackmore. High kick to half forward. 2-on-1 for Subiaco. Good collect from Renshaw. Hand pass inside to Devlin. Long kick clears the players. Stammers leading back in the race. Can't get to it. Yet another behind for Subiaco.
Just not sure how Peel can get out here. They just keep... The Subi have manned up really well, so there's no free Peel players, and they just can't get it past their half-back line.
This could be their chance.
Here
The
we
kick's
go.
gone over the top to McKinley. She doubles back for some reason. Really needed to take the game on from there. She pokes a kick out very wide. There is some space for Peel to work in, though. Our pass comes back towards McKinley. It misses her, and now this is where the problems come again. Subiaco have been too good in this sort of situation throughout the day. Devlin holds it up.
I see that a lot in WAFLW and our state 18s girls too. They've got the run and they've got the player beat and they cut back inside instead of just putting the afterburners on, something that Hayley Miller's famous for. I reckon watching Hayley Miller and learning a few things wouldn't go astray from some of our players.
Stammers wins the ball about 30 out from goal. Her little kick trickles forward. Peel holding it up through Breslin. No one wants to pick up the football, and in the end someone tackled Breslin, so she will get a free kick. Heads towards that outer side. Grieve couldn't take the mark, but recovers pretty well. Slung in the tackle and rides it nicely. Breaks free. Kicks in towards the centre of the ground. That's a good catch. Nice mark taken there by Barndon. High kick in the Yarran direction. Ball didn't quite carry to her. Thayer is there. So too Dowson. Dowson wrestling with Marnie. Dowson backs out of the pack. Showed some strength. Here's a real chance for Peel. They've got players breaking forward. The kick goes towards Duffy. Needs a good bounce here. Doesn't get it. It skips away from her. Subiaco have two players down there. One is Claire Ortlip. Just held on to Duffy for a moment. Then Duffy collects, well tackled by Ortlip. And now the support arrives. And they'll hold it up. But at least Peel have got a stoppage in their attacking 50.
Much better from Peel there. Getting the ball moving, getting those connects, and just copped an awkward bounce there, Duffy.
So Barndon does the ruck work this time for Peel. McKinley, who's gone forward, gains about 10 metres, and they find the boundary, and they'll get a repeat stoppage. So we'll see here if Peel have got any tricks up forward. Haven't spent much time in this end of the ground at all.
Subiaco own the space on the far side of the ground. Anything skinny here from Subi's going to go to Shante Freeman. She's pretty handy from this little position, I think, with a forward 50 entry.
Yarran does the roving, gets tackled, but just sneaks a hand pass out. Duffy crashed in hard. She'll go again. Here's Sabrina Duffy. Knocked off her feet, though. Subiaco holding up in defence pretty well. Clearing kick comes out from Ortlip, straight down the middle of the ground. Important ball to be won here. Attacking it hard, Rosengrave won it well. Kicks to a one-on-one. Stammers wants to work her opponent under the football, but having none of that was Shannon Whale. Held strong and then won the footy herself. Kicks towards half forward. Marnie spun in the tackle by Thayer. Peel should win it again here. Bartlett has it. Should be too quick for Lewis. Runs almost to 50. Kick towards, in fact, this is Bartlett about to receive now. Comes off her hands. Has it gone out? No. Keeps it in. Hand pass inside. Duffy. Good collect. Feeds it back, and there'll be a free kick going back. I just wonder. Well, now the advantage is going to be paid. It's paid to Breslin, who had snuck forward and kicked the goal. Everyone stopped. I was about to say I would have thought maybe the umpire could have paid advantage because Peel had the run of play. But as it is, they got themselves a goal anyway. And Breslin, who's been their best player playing at fullback throughout the day, sneaking forward, kicking a goal.
I think that was Dowson, actually, that kicked that one. Dowson,
yes, sorry.
Both have a number 5 on their back,
Yes.
so easy to be confused.
She stood in the right spot, didn't she?
Yeah, stood in the right spot, and just it was great work from Peel. They've got their guns in there. They've got Duffy and Bartlett. They just got to get it to them all. But that was really positive signs from them.
What about Taylor Breslin onto the ball for a little stint? Is it robbing Peter to pay Paul, though, of course, because she's been such an anchor down back?
Well, Peel are within 11 points. It's 13 scoring shots to 2, but it's 2-11 to 2 straight. So if they can find a spark for 5 minutes here, leading in towards three-quarter time, they'll be right in the game, going possibly with whatever advantage the Breeze has in the last quarter. Chance to go forward again, perhaps here. Tilbrook got a hand pass away. Here's the kick towards half forward. Claire Ortlip does well. Attack the footy, sidestepped an opponent, and then bangs it long, straight down the middle of the ground. Stammers works her opponent off the football. Nice work in defence by Peel. They hold it up. Dowson waited. Rosengrave attacked it. Through comes Dowrick. She's caught. Did she get a hand pass away? No. Great effort there from Peel. Free kick goes the way of Shannon Whale. Whale wants to attack down the outer side. The kick goes over the top of Hardy. Yarran mopping up nicely. Shrugs one. Now a second. The kick inside. A tough one for anyone to get to. Hannah Kampf attacked it hard. Lost the footy in the tackle. Rosengrave coming in to apply some pressure for Subiaco. Hand pass comes to Lewis. Goes with her left boot towards half forward. Attacking at Renshaw. It beat her. Dowrick, a chance for Subiaco. Collects and again wants to come inside. A hand pass to Renshaw. Long kick. Stammers stands back and waits and takes the mark. They'd left her alone over the back of the pack. And Lauren Stammers to line up for goal.
Just a deep representation, John. That's what you've been saying
Yep.
that you want from Peel. I agree. Stammers just had the length of the ground, just held strong as that ball came in. Always hard to defend coming back with the flight when you've got a clever forward standing in the sweet spot.
And really clever from the Subi player. Just drew the 2 Peel defenders and freed up a Subi girl to get the ball to Stammers.
Has not kicked this one well off the boot at all, but it wobbles and goes straight through for a goal. So Subiaco get the goal to reply to Peel's recent success, and they stretch that lead back out to 17 points.
Watching a game of footy together this last week, Lauren and I, and we mentioned that it didn't matter what it looked like. They're worth 6, and she drew the comparison to a slips drive. It says 4 in the book. It doesn't say slips drive, so sweet hit, and that's probably made the job very, very difficult now for Peel, particularly the way they're moving the football, although just had a bit of a run of play for a while there, Johnny.
Yeah, just real positive, just attacking the ball harder, and a number of their younger players are stepping up.
Well, Hannecamp's standing on Hayley Miller.
She's dancing around like a boxer as well as she looks to get involved in this. Gets in front of Miller, but the ball actually bounced past her straight to her opponent. Miller with the kick, gets it inside 50. Whale slaps it away. Jaya Saria likes the feedback hand pass, Jaya Saria. Filicamo tried to pinpoint the pass, but reading it best, McCormack. Takes the mark and has a player breaking out wide. Good kick. Finds Rowley. Rowley looking further afield. Sends her kick long. Jaya Saria back with the flight. Did enough. Couldn't quite take the mark, but made sure that Yaron couldn't. Yaron with a soccer kick, but there was some holding going on. And it will go to Jaya Saria. So Jaya Saria with the free kick. We're inside the last 3 minutes of the third quarter. Spearing ball. Beats all players. Sneaks out the back. Hannekamp is there. She leaves it for Freeman, who spins onto her left boot. Kicks across the face of goal. The kick favours Subiaco. Miller. Nice pass. Puts it into space in front of Stammers once more.
I guess that's
Stammers thinks about coming inside. The umpire's called play on. Freeman eventually realises this. Stammers has kicked this one very nicely off the boot, right to the line. Oh, almost a mark there to Peel on the goal line, keeping it in McKinley. And she'll swing it away to the outer side. Needs Rowley to work hard for this one. Bad bounce for Rowley. Jaya Saria, good little kick. And Devlin all alone takes the mark.
Just watching Hayley Miller there takes that mark and then just takes a step forward. She doesn't go to arc back around. She doesn't twist her hips or her body. She just goes through the open space. Was able to hit Stammers' laces out. Had she turned back inside, Stammers would have lost that front position because it would have opened up the defender.
And that's the advantage of Stammers knowing her teammate as well, isn't it? Seeing Miller knows that she would want to go quickly. Devlin's kick, drifting right, but I reckon it's snuck in for a goal. She likes it. So a goal to Subiaco. And as they did in the first quarter, they've kicked 2 goals to 1 in this third quarter. They're opening up quite an advantage now. 23 points is their lead.
Well, just noticing across the ground too, and Jono and I are giving each other some signals. There's a lot of 2-on-1s. There's a lot of 3-on-1s. And in one case there, Jono, there was a 4-on-1 where Peel are trying to work themselves into the game, but they're actually outnumbering themselves at the stoppage. They're going to the ball carrier and leaving Subiaco the outside advantage.
And Subiaco are setting up really nicely in those contests as well. They're letting that one player go and then having that triangle shape around the thing. So they get the 2 3 metre handball when they're away.
So that was the second goal for Devlin. She's the only multiple goal kicker out there today. And there's still just over 30 seconds remaining for Subi to add one more to the tally before the three-quarter time siren. Jaya Saria, good collect down low. Hand pass intercepted though by Grieve. Kicks the bouncing ball towards half forward. Hardy collected it well on the attack. Comes inside with a very dangerous kick. And reading this one well, Miller chops it off.
It's a good example of what I'm saying there was every one of the Peel forwards had come to this side of the ground to support her run, and then she turned back inside, and advantage side was all of the defenders from Subiaco.
This forward attack has been shut down for Subiaco, and that will end things in this third quarter. Another good one for the Lions. They kicked 2 goals in that quarter as well. 2 goals, 4. Just the 1 goal again for Peel. So at 3-quarter time, it's Subiaco by 23 points. A lot of work to be done by the Thunder to come back into the contest in the last quarter, which is coming up after these messages.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
There's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
It's 3-quarter time here at David Gray's Arena, where Subiaco have a comfortable lead at the final change. 23 points is their advantage. 4 goals, 11 Subiaco, leading Peel 2 straight goals. Beatrice Devlin's played well. She's kicked a couple of goals. Toth and Stammers, the other goal kickers for Subiaco. While for Peel, their goals have come off the boots of Ebony Dowson and Ebony Hardy. David Lindsay, Clint Degebrot and Emily Johnson are your commentary team for this afternoon. And Jono, it's been an impressive performance from Subiaco. They've had all the answers. Peel have not really been able to get their own game style going throughout this afternoon, and that's a credit to Subiaco.
Yeah, Subi have definitely played on their terms today, and they've controlled the ball. They haven't rushed with their decisions, and they've just made sure of it. Not on the scoreboard. I think if they could have kicked straight, it would be a much more damaging scoreboard, but they've certainly controlled it and had on their terms, and they're just a slick outfit with so many players out and others stepping up. Really impressive.
The Kimberley Spirit football in a different incantation of my working career used to call it the Kimberley Diamond. So they'd have a player in front of the stoppage, behind the stoppage, and either side form that nice diamond shape. And where they could, they'd form a second diamond. And of course, anyone at the coalface can just flip it out 3 metres in any direction and have some representation for at least another stoppage or not. And that's what Subiaco have done today. So shining bright like a diamond. I don't know why we're working Rihanna into it, but Subiaco are certainly controlling all of the stoppages around the ground, including holding the length and width forward and back.
Some of the highlights here from the third quarter, which again was dominated by Subiaco. Peel did kick a goal in that term, but gee, once again we saw probably 80% of the play played in the forward half. Coach Adam Dancy looking after the Peel team here, and he's quite forthright with his message, it would appear. He wants a big lift from his side in the last quarter. They're sitting on the bottom of the table with just the 1 win. They had a victory, 2 wins, had a victory. Is it 2? No, just the 1 against Swans. It was a massive win on that occasion, but they've struggled really in almost all other games. A very close loss to Claremont.
I think their
their second match.
I think their defensive play and their initial ball movement. See Scout McCormack taking a catch there and spreading by foot to Rowley and hitting that winger deep. I think they've got that part sorted out. It's the next part they're finding difficult.
Yep.
And you've mentioned this a couple of times, Jono. It's just about getting connected in that box with just a bit of kick and catch. So that's great they intercept, they spread really nicely, they get up into that 60 metres out. If they can get a catch there, they transfer very quickly to the forward 50, but that's been the issue today.
We'll see some of their 18s players, Jono, trickle back in over the next 5 weeks. There's 5 games remaining in the season. That will change their game style, won't it? We've mentioned there's probably not a lot of run from Peel, but a bit of youth and a bit of speed would change things nicely for them.
Yeah, I think so. And just having that support in the midfield as well to get those girls in those positions and to execute those skills, because it's so frustrating and it kills the coach when you string a couple of kicks together and then someone drops the soda and the ball goes in a flash, it's 60 metres the other way. So it'd be good to inject that youth into the team, a bit of energy, and hopefully Peel can get another win for the season.
So we're ready to go here in the final quarter. Subiaco, of course, sitting at the other end of the table, on top of the table. And assuming that they don't implode here in the last quarter, they'll have a game and percentage break over Claremont. And first spot, we're set for a very interesting final 5 rounds of the season where every team will play each other one further occasion. It's a old-style waffle competition with the teams playing each other 3 times during the year. Subiaco connecting well again. Ritchie with the kick, sending them inside 50. Renshaw has been busy up forward. She's hassling her opponent again here. Lurking is Devlin. Was tackled high. We'll get a free kick. Seen Beatrice Devlin a couple of times this year and she's impressed me every time I've seen her. She had a good day again here today, kicking for a third right now.
Beautiful funnel. They just formed a sort of the mighty V from the from the mighty Ducks.
The flying V.
Just got the ball at the centre of the ground.
So Devlin sends this one goalward. It'll go right to the line. Does it clear it? No, it doesn't. Touched ball is the call from goal umpire Sajeev Simapathakumar, one of the best goal umpires in WAFLW. I spotted his name earlier in the football budget. Thought we've got to give him a rap at some stage.
How long did it take you to practice that one?
I had a couple of goes. Simapathakumar.
Well done. You've done it twice.
Yep.
I'm not even going to read it.
No, he's one of my favourite WAFLW goal umpires. I think it's the only time I've seen him in action, but he's done a good job there. Touch ball was his call.
I don't like to mispronounce people's names, seeing as my name's Degebrot.
So, Peel on the escape from defence here. The kick from Little down the line. Carter can't mark. Nice work coming across by Dowrick to force the boundary throw in.
Once again, Subiaco has managed to bring every Peel player over to this side of the ground and round them up within sort of 70 metres of this ball. So it suits Subiaco down to the ground here because Peel are having trouble travelling, and I don't think they can travel from this stoppage.
Ritchie read the boundary throw in best, took clean possession. The kick from Filicamo almost straight up and down on the same spot. Ritchie with a second effort. Kicks in the Renshaw direction. Spoil from behind was good from Brooke Shrubsaw once again. And now here's a chance for Peel perhaps. Yarran on the turn, kicks high. Dowrick read it best, almost took the mark. Recovers well. Little chip kick with that left boot again to Miller. And then down the line to Stammers. It's precise football from the Lions.
Just taking what's offered. That's one of those things that the best teams do, is they give what the Oppo offer. Oppo offer you a 25-metre pass. They're just executing beautifully.
Kicking to a 1-on-2 inside their attacking 50. Duffy's kick was smothered on the way out. Ritchie shares it nicely by hand to Filicamo. Little chip pass and Devlin was alert to it. And that was good reflexes from her. She'll have a second opportunity, which is just short of the distance from probably the same sort of range a minute ago. I don't think she could strike it much better than the first one, and this one will fall a little bit further short, and that's a good mark deep in defence for Peel Thunder. That's been taken by Breslin again. Not sure you can give best on ground to the fullback in a team that's had 2 scoring shots to 16, but Breslin would be in the votes today. Long kick out of defence. Over the top of the ball, Freeman tries to slap it out.
Get the players mug today. I think Breslin.
Yarran gave a good shove on her opponent, and then Dowrick was dragged to ground. The umpire ignored both of those. Grieve. Here's some dash, bit of run, 3 bounces. I'm not sure what you describe that kick as. It was an interesting ball drop. Gets over the back of the players. Marnie tracking it under pressure from Hardy. Did well. Peel need to push numbers up here to support now. In comes Malloy. She's waiting for this one to come out. It won't come out, but at least, again, they set up with some sort of structure at right half forward with this stoppage. Quaife nominates. She'll contest in this ruck against Ritchie. Filicamo had a clear path to that ball. Harkin off to Blackmore. Met solidly. Dowson squeezes a kick. There's a whistle from the umpire who was out of the area. He spotted a free kick that will, in the end, go to Ellie Blackmore. So slow play for Subiaco. Blackmore sends it long. Wasn't well directed. And Breslin pushing up the ground, opposed to Devlin, taking the mark this time. Long and high she goes forward. That's very poorly directed. There's two lines there. They just about knocked it out of each other's hands.
Nice,
Dowrick with the mark.
Good from Rachel just to come in and just provide a bit of pressure on the Derek mark.
There's that trusty left boot again. Jaya Saria was alert to it. Snuck out the back, took the mark on the chest. Has Devlin inside for this kick on the 45. Got some treatment there from Duffy on the way past. Little drive-by. Kicks inside to Filicamo. They've affected the switch very nicely here. Filicamo has Marnie on still. Just decides to ignore that.
Little scrunchy adjustment.
And then kicks to Devlin, who's pushed forward again. There's a few scrunchies out there today. Here's Devlin. Straight down the middle she goes. Too far for Lewis at the back. Renshaw.
You'd play that. You play this little passage of play for kids to learn how to play footy, wouldn't you?
Kicks to Miller.
What is that? 6 and 7 kicks and marks in a row to get a shot.
It's been precise.
Just a little bit of patience. Just a bit of let the game open up in front of you so you can choose an option. Wonderful foot skills.
This has been the area of Subiaco's game that's let them down today. It's probably about the only area. Their goal kicking. They've kicked 4 goals, 12. Miller nails this one though. Great shot. Good start to the quarter again for Subiaco. And their lead is really blowing out right now.
Some real intent from Peel there. Love the work from Cody Jane Grief. Obviously Breslin trying to push up the ground and have an impact on some forward 50 entries, but once Subiaco got control of that ball, was all Peel could do to try and touch it.
I think we've talked a lot about the Peel defenders, but I think Ortlip and Dowrick, both the Ortlips and Dowrick down there, have just not let anything through. Just the gatekeepers there, and you just cannot get past them.
They're very impressed with Claire Ortlip this season. Just the way she's given the Subiaco team structure, because it starts with her. She kicks on the 45 really well after she intercepts. She defends well one-on-one. It's great to have her sister back. Sister Fields, I think they call, aren't they?
Something
Refer
like
to themselves as Sister Fields.
So Duffy this time with a clearance for Peel. Bounces it towards half forward. Rebounded off the shins of Yaron. Coming through Grieve. Shrugs one, shrugs two. Caught by the third. And Filicamo will get the free kick. Likes to take the game on. Katie Jane Grieve.
Speedster.
Short pass into Blackmore. Again, we'll see this little pinpoint passing. The kick to Harkin. Luckily this time Peel had some players awake to it, but they've given away a free kick for a hold on Harkin. But their spread away is good again. They've got good space here for Harkin to try to pinpoint a teammate again. She goes straight over the player on the mark. Jaya Saria can't quite collect on the bounce. Breslin does nicely herself. Gives it off to McKinley. That kick was shut down quickly by Harkin. Here's Grieve again. Caught and thrown to ground. Strong tackle from Blackmore. And we'll restart with just over 10 minutes remaining in this game. Grieve opposed to Ritchie, who wins it down towards Miller. High kick to centre half forward. Renshaw onto it. Gives off the hand pass to Rode. Seen her in this position once or twice today. On the run. Long kick. She's dealt with after the kick.
Not sure she was dealt with that harshly. A little shoulder rub.
Went to ground a little easy, you say?
She's just puffed, I think, Lyndall. She's done some running.
So the relayed free kick goes to Lewis. And wouldn't she like a goal? She's had a few shots today. Mainly right of screen, this time left of screen at the northern end. Maybe the breeze will suit her better at this end. Been one of their better players today, Jono, would you say?
Yeah, she started really well. She went a bit quiet there in the second and third, but I think she's presented really well and almost made the most of her opportunities.
So still lining up for her first goal today. She's only kicked one this year, played every game for Subiaco. Long, slow, steady approach. Boot to ball with the left. It's high and it's straight and it's a goal. So eventually she breaks a duck today and she'd enjoy that quite a bit. There's a few girls coming in to celebrate with her. 6 goals on the board now for Subiaco. And Peel are going to have to work very hard in this last 9 minutes to hang on and not let this blow out too badly.
was going to say she's been very, very handy as a relief ruck to Richie today, and all throughout the season she's been very good. She rucks the forward line and comes onto the footy at different times. But that is 2 of the crispest high 10s I've seen in my life, and I don't know if you heard them in the effects mic, but they were thunderous. Great timing. Greatly appreciated.
What makes a good high 10?
I think it's all about it's contact at the same time, so both hands hitting both hands at the same time, momentum
both
through,
ways,
and both following through.
Yes.
Open, flat palms.
Might have to practice this.
You get horribly injured if you get wrong.
Miller on the burst out of the middle. Haven't seen a lot of this from Miller today, but she's certainly got better the longer the game's gone. 50 out when she sends it goalward. It's away to the left, and they'll set up for a boundary throw-in right up alongside the left-hand behind post.
You said at half-time, ominous signs from both Miller and Darrick. One thing that Darrick doesn't get a lot of credit for is how good her short kicking is. And that was trademark Miller dash.
Actually 2 spare balls behind the goals at that northern end now. Perhaps expecting more shots at this end. Here's another shot from Renshaw. Was it touched again by Breslin? It was. Saved the day yet again.
Harkin was going to give her a big hug. And it wasn't a goal, so she just said, you're not
Pushed
getting
off
one.
pretty quickly.
Pushed off, not getting a reward for that, pal. Harkin's been solid today too.
I'd like to see if the stats people are keeping goals saved as a stat, because Breslin has probably saved 4 or 5, I would say. That's probably conservative, that estimate. Kick to the pocket for Bartlett. Takes it on the way out. Kicks very wide with her next ball, but it works out nicely. Barndon. Good connection from Peel on the way out of defence this time. Kick down the line. That's a very good mark, though, for Subiaco, getting the way Bree Marnie.
Barney got very close to the player on the mark when she kicked that. Just didn't push back far enough.
Chip pass finds Road.
I think she's taken a step today with her game. She's gone up a cog. She's already playing some very, very good football.
Shannon Whale, the player on the mark, charges at her once she was allowed to, and here's Breslin again. Wanted that ball more than anyone else. Takes the mark. Kicks to a very congested area around half forward for Subi, and they'll reload again. Darrick brushes aside the tackler onto the left from 55 out. Long to the top of the goal square. It clears the pack. Guess who's at the back door again? Devlin's there. Under pressure. Doesn't collect the footy. Good little feedback hand pass. Renshaw knocked over, and she has her shot on goal. As a result, the ball goes out wide. Devlin gives a hand pass off to Jaya Surya. Loses the football on the spin and then gets it back just to hand pass it through the legs of Dowson. And then she's infringed on Dowson, giving away a free kick with some hanging on. And Peel able to rebound once more. Freeman with the left boot. High kick down the line. 2-on-2 battle. There'll be no winner out there. We'll see another ball up as we tick down to the last 6 minutes of this contest. So the competition, Deckers and Jono, it's set up interestingly with 6 or 5 games to go. There's a general bye next week, so everyone gets a week off, and then the teams will play each other once more. Subiaco will start these string of games with a one game lead ahead of Claremont, who are 1 game ahead of East Fremantle and Swans. And I would think, could be right in saying, the AFLW players will start to play more and more games in the last 5 as well. So who do you see as the challenger for Subiaco? Are Claremont in the best position at the moment?
I think Claremont are in a very good position. I think their best side all on the park is a very well-balanced side. It's still hard to go past East Fremantle in terms of what their list looks like and how well that list can play on a day. Put all the AFLW players plus all the very good players that sit off AFLW lists that are at East Fremantle Footy Club, I think they're a real threat. So definitely 2 clubs. Can't go past the Swannies either. It's just on the day. At the moment, the competition's so good that in terms of those 4, you can expect a good game, and any of the teams can win, which of course was the Footy Commission's.
That's what they wanted.
That's what they wanted. Was a competition that was even, and provided the ability for any team to win on the day, depending on how well they play footy.
Excellent mark there from Rowley, who sent it then towards attacking 50. Freeman sends it long with her left boot. Subi with the extra number here, although Claire Ortlip's wrapped up very quickly. Good tackle from Malloy, and they'll set up for a stoppage. About 25 out. Directly in front of goal here for Peel.
Form's a funny thing too, though. So at the moment, continue to look at East Fremantle because of their talent and how well they're coached and how well they've played over the last couple of years. And perennial finalist Swan Districts. So it's really hard to write one team off. But I like the balance of the Claremont side. I like the way Subiaco are playing football at the moment. I think that they've taken to the 16-side comp really, really well, and I think they just do the right thing at the right time.
Filicamo, the opposed to Whale, and she's given away a free kick. Filicamo will take it and go short towards Miller.
That was the old put a saddle on it.
It was, wasn't it? Now the kick out wide to Harkin. Wants to duck onto her right boot. She steps around Rowley and then hand passes, searching for Filicamo. Had her stretching, couldn't collect, and then Filicamo wanted to give it back and make it her own problem, but was held onto too long. Gets a free kick herself. So Filicamo short with the right boot. To Blackmore. Has a player breaking into space. It's a good kick. Sets it up well. Chance for Subiaco to go forward through Pienaar. Uses it well to Darrick. Like her in this position. 60 out from goal. Long towards Road at the back. Has a run and a jump at it. Didn't quite judge it as well as she might have liked. Quaife under pressure, gets tackled and loses the football. Road squeezes a kick on goal. It works out nicely. Lewis drops the mark. Should have wrapped that one up on that occasion, Sarah Lewis. Then she's tackled. Umpire said was in possession. Bartlett with a clearing kick. Doesn't quite get it out of the defensive end just yet, but Carter could swoop on this loose ball. Wastes no time with her kick and sends it straight down the throat of an opponent. Nicely done from the Lions as the kick goes forward again through Pienaar. Towards half forward. High contact in the marking contest against Freeman. And Jaya Surya will get the free kick. She wants to move it on quickly. Pokes into the pocket for Darrick. He'll swing onto the left, shrugs a tackle. Hand passes back to Jaya Surya. She's wanted to give them off all day. This time she has a shot herself. And she kicks her first goal of the afternoon. Probably made a little bit of hard work of it there, the Lions, but they got the goal they deserved, and they've got 7 for the afternoon. And Jaya Surya, she's a very sharing player, Jono. She likes to dish off the little hand passes, but it was almost like Darrick just said, no, your turn this time. It's all yours. I'll bring all the players towards me. You have the space. Finish it off.
Yeah, she would have been a bit too far out there to have a shot herself, so getting it to Darrick. Darrick's probably got the distance, but then the little fumble there just drew the two Peel defenders and just freed up Jaya Surya to run straight through.
Back to your point too, before off half back, you've wrapped up the Subi backs. Another great attack from...
Yep. Well, look.
I think that time it was... who was it that time, Rich?
Oh, they've just been sweeping it off there.
It was a wonderful little
run.
run.
The afternoon.
It was Pienaar.
Yeah, she's done some good things. Yep. First time I've seen her this afternoon. Jonah, we've heard Degger's thoughts on what's still to come in the next 5 weeks. Where do you see things happening? Who's going to be the team that might be able to take it up to Subiaco? Can East Fremantle flick the switch? They haven't been able to just yet.
I think they do. They're building. They've got more to come, and bringing in their quality players, I think, will definitely help them. But they just need to find some momentum, and they need to get back to the organised footy that they're known for. They're very structured, very organised, and they set up really well when they set up early, and it works for them really well. They just haven't been able to do that this year. But hopefully, getting those AFLW players in, they can find some momentum and get organised.
Unfortunately there for McKinley Degg. You could see what she was trying to do. Tried to use her pace to get away from her opponent, but under too much pressure there to get an effective kick away, and then Road has come inside with her kick to Darrick. And she does have the distance on this left boot of hers, although what breeze that is here today is probably into her face from in this position.
They used an interchange to free up Mackenzie Darrick then, the Lions.
Sets it out to the left. It'll swing back on the breeze and just sneak in. No, it's just missed. So behind signalled.
Just had a good look all over the ground. The only player free was Mackenzie Darrick. Just while they did that interchange, they just worked it to her because she was the free player behind the footy.
Did it well, the Lions. As we tick down towards full time, there is time for one more score, although that's a great saving tackle from Peel. And we'll see holding the ball free kick that go the way of the home side. And that will be just about all we'll get this afternoon. Yaron wants to play on. In fact, it's a 50-metre penalty that's been paid here. She does play on while the 50 is being marched out, but won't really get to take her kick as it turns out. Subiaco big winners today, 7-14-56 have defeated Peel. Just 2 straight goals, 12 the final margin, 44 points. 2 goals to Devlin, 1 to Stammers, Toth, Miller, Jaya Surya and Sarah Lewis as well, while for Peel, their goals came off the boots of Dowson and Hardy. As the players get together and congratulate each other, we'll bring you the Subiaco team song shortly once the girls form in their huddle. But Emily Johnson, Clint Degrot, it was comprehensive from Subiaco, really from start to finish, Jono. They started the better of the two sides in the first quarter, and apart from a goalless second term where both teams struggled to find a goal, it was really all the Lions.
Yeah, they look very schmick at the moment, and they just picked apart Peel's defence then in the whole game, just hitting those short kicks on the 45 and just doing it repeatedly, and just picked Peel apart until they were ready to fire and they can get a quality entry inside 50.
Deggers, the Lions appear to have the answers at the moment. They've just had the two slip-ups. They've responded well this week because last week, surprisingly, Swan Districts brought them back to earth, but it's always good to see strong teams rebound after a bad loss.
Just calm. They just stood in the right spot. They kept their heads. They used the ball short. But they're doing that. They're doing that. The best of all the teams at the moment is taking what's offered. I think Subi understand what it's taking to win these games. I think Subi understand how to play 16 on. Love the way they set up in defence. Love their forward play. And I'm continue to be very impressed with the little manipulations and little evolutions they put in each week as they learn something more about the competition.
So see the huddle taking place out in the middle of the ground. All the NAIDOC week jumpers looking fantastic as well. It's been a great initiative across the WAFL women's comp this year. It's been in the WAFL men's comp for quite some time, but it's great to see it spilling into the women's game as well. And always great, Johnny, to see this huddle. There was a school game I was at recently where someone wanted to make a big announcement and immediately the game finished. They said, no, we've got to do the huddle first. And they go, oh, hang on, okay, away they go. So it's something that is seen all around Australia in these games, and it's something that's just particular to the women's game, and it continues from week to week all across the country.
I'm just going to make sure I mention Peel too. I mean, it was an absolute controlled game by Subiaco today. There's something there for Peel. There's definitely something in the way they're trying to play. There's definitely something in their playing list too. So I'm hoping that the Peel girls can stay together, start to continue to understand what it is they're being asked to do, and that what they're being asked to do remains consistent. So it's clear what they're trying to do. They're just not able to execute it at the level they need to under pressure at the moment. But to go back to that huddle, love it, love the tradition, and it harks back to a time when you respect your opponent, respect the game, respect the umpires, respect the club itself. And I love what it looks like and what it represents. I think that the type of thing that the female footballers are doing could influence how our male footballers treat each other.
So the Subiaco huddle is forming now. They've said goodbye to the Peel players, and the team song, imagine, will be sung. Coaches having a few words before we hear any song. It'll be tough for Peel from here now. They've only won the one game. They'll find themselves 3 games adrift of the top 4 with 5 games to play. So really would have to win at least 4. Probably would have to win all 5 of their games, you would think, to sneak into the top 4 before the finals come around. So a real challenge for Peel. And I guess in some ways, Jono, slight disappointment for the WAFL women's comp that it appears that the top 4, as it will be, it's probably going to be set before before the finals come around.
Yeah, it is a little disappointing, but it's something that the Footy Commission are trying to address, and they're doing all these things, bringing in this competition. If it was a 9-team competition, it'd be the same situation. It'd be the top 3 or 4 teams and then those other ones just fighting it out for the last choice.
Let's take in some of the Subiaco song. They're getting soaked in water. Just a couple of the water bottles, the lid came off and she got absolutely drenched. Her first victory for Subiaco as we start to look at some of the highlights from the 4th and final quarter. And we mentioned really that from start to finish today, Subiaco were far too strong, but in the last quarter in particular, they kicked 3 goals, 3, and Peel did not manage to score a goal. In fact, Peel's only 2 goals came in the 1st and 3rd quarters at the northern end. They didn't kick one to the southern end for the entire game. So we've made mention that there's 1 set of fixtures left. Every team will play each other 1 further time. It's interesting the way the fixtures have been set up. It's a challenge because they've been trying to set them up so that as much as possible they play alongside the men's fixtures as well. Can't be done every week, but it does mean some teams have played 2 away games against a certain opponent, 2 home games. I think this is the second time Subiaco have travelled down here. They'll get to host Peel when they meet again one more time. So it's nicely set up that we can have 1 more set of fixtures now and really look at those top 4 teams, Jono, and see who deserves to be in which positions. I wonder how important the double chance will be. If you finish top 2, you get a double chance. It might just be that little bonus that a team like a Claremont or if East Fremantle or Swans can push up into second spot, might just give them a little bit of an extra edge to be able to sneak into a grand final. We assume Subiaco probably should be good enough to get there.
I think Subi have shown throughout the year that they're the best team in the competition, as Dega said, adjusted best to the rules and things. So would be surprised if they didn't. But again, everyone's lost a game this year and everyone's won a game, so it could go any way. They have no idea what two teams are going to be in the grand final or who's going to take it. It really is anyone's game.
And Dega's having a general bye at this time of the year as well. With all the football that's been going on, there's been development squads with both Fremantle and the Eagles hosting players. There's been the State 18s program. All the players in the WAFL Women's have now gone through 2 full sets of fixtures, 8 games for each club. It's timed very well, and it will allow everyone to roll in towards the finals.
Timed very well for those that aren't playing in the state game next Saturday against Queensland. So a lot of players out there today. So it's sort of loosely a 23s concept. So they're going to play against Queensland at Steel Blue next Saturday. So they'll train Monday, Wednesday, Friday with they'll be training. They'll be getting together 3 times next week. They don't need to train. Some of the better players in the competition just get a little run in what's being called by the Queensland team as an emerging talent match.
Right.
For us, for our side, we'll have quite a number of players that are pre-listed and a couple of players that have been were rookied or are now rookied. So it's game 2 of the WAFL exhibition matches, the WAFLW All-Stars versus Queensland next Saturday.
Should be something to look forward to for a lot of players, a chance to put their skills on show, and perhaps
it's a recruiters match, definitely.
Absolutely.
So the best talent from the 2 states just on show, just in one place at one time. So great for recruiters to have a little look at the upcoming draft.
And it's a good little relationship developing between WA and Queensland, isn't it?
It is.
There's a lot of matchups between those 2 states these days.
It is. We're very similar in our setups and very similar in the weather and the way we play footy. So and our playing numbers are similar as well.
It's good to see, and as we said, some of the girls that were out here today will get their opportunity to pull on a WA State All-Stars jumper next week and show what they can do. It's been a big win for Subiaco today, 7-14-56. They defeated Peel Thunder 2 straight goals, 12. They're on top of the WAFLW ladder. They're a game and percentage clear of second spot. It's been a very good first 2/3 of the season for Subiaco. As we say, general bye for the WAFLW next week, and then everyone will have one more match against each other in the final 5 rounds. Emily Johnson, thanks for your work this afternoon. Enjoy the drive back to Perth and the tennis, the cricket, whatever else you get into tonight.
Yeah, it should be a good Sunday evening.
And Deggers, enjoy your kebab.
I'm also going to say, just to call out to New Zealand in the Anzac spirit,
yes,
I'll be on you tonight.
We're all Kiwis tonight, aren't we? Great work from the guys in the truck as well. Thanks for your company wherever you've been watching our match. There's plenty more WAFL women's football to come in the final 5 rounds of the season. We wish you a very good afternoon.
This WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL, and WAFLW, Bupa, proud sponsor of WA football. And the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.